That was like the worst timed yawn ever. I'm like, 3, 2, what? Yeah.
My earbuds are like, stay in? Absolutely not.
Damn. The struggle bus. As you
Good
see,
morning, everybody.
Chandra is not in her normal location. So, it's a secret operation. Not witness protection, just secret.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Pretty
Though
much
I
that.
will say I could totally see you going in witness protection because we talked about how you have a personal FBI agent that's like, is this real? No, it's another one of her stories. Okay, all right.
That would be spicy.
Like, though, actually, you know what? That would be a really good, interesting story. Is like,
Ooh, what if there was
some
like somebody who's like in witness protection and they're telling true stories, but they write it as fiction and publish anonymously?
oh,
That would be
I
so
I don't
fun.
think they'd be able to publish though. I bet
What if
like,
they do it without their agents
oh, in
protecting them?
secret.
Yeah, yeah. And they change like the names and everything, but somebody out there is like, I know this story. Like I know something about this. Like this is a real case, and then they start like trying to do
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, I'm just thinking of in the sense of and it's been happening in real life, but the people who do um goodness me, I words escape me. Why is it this happen every single day? I would say it's every weekend, but no, it's every day. Uh but where like someone writes a story of like, oh, it's fiction, and then it's like, no, this is real, and actually this is an open case and this is gonna help us solve it.
Ooh, yeah, we should. That would be a fun story to write. We should write that.
Yeah.
Ooh, we should write that and have one of us write like the detective, or like have each of us write separate parts. So we're like,
Oh, so it's like a clear, like, from the person's like perspective
yeah,
and
and then
everything.
we would be like co-writing, but different perspectives completely.
Yeah, and the only thing that has to stay true is like timeline, like, so we would know what the other's writing about, but the distinct voice would be clear
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
that would be fun.
Ooh,
We should do it.
sweet.
We have so
We're
many projects to
we
work
do.
on.
I was just thinking that.
Like, do we have the time? We'll make the time.
It will happen. I still like the idea that we've been working on with the stickers and stuff. If we can figure something out for that this year, that'd
Yeah,
be so cool.
we definitely need to do that. Oh,
Yeah.
also, hi Shannon, and thank you, and good morning,
Yes,
Eva.
dear. Uh,
I think today is going to be kind of a shorter stream because
yes.
we both have things and stuff, but we are planning something where we're going to make it up to y'all
Yes.
and also help with some of the nano chaos. So
Yeah.
we'll be posting
Catch
about
up
that
day.
soon. Yeah, yeah.
So, um,
I
what was I
shared
gonna say?
a document with you.
Oh yeah, that thing. Okay, cool. All right. So, while I'm opening this, a heads up for people: the something that we've kind of started doing again is a shorter sprint at the beginning of like 10 minutes. To give Chandra and I a chance to read through the stories, and then now we're writing our comments in the stories. So you get to see a live edit of whoever's sharing their screen with the story. And then we explain the notes to the other person, and then we give ourselves 20 minutes to edit.
Mm-hmm.
So that is the process, because we tried it last week and we really liked it. And it
Yeah.
also helped us not having to do homework and watch episodes.
I actually
Before
did get them watched this morning, but
I did watch them. I watched them last night, so I could sit and do the timestamps, knowing
mhm.
you were kind of busy and everything. I was like, well, maybe if I send her the timestamps, if she has a chance to do it, it won't take her as much time.
Yeah, it was very helpful. I think we've kind of gone back and forth of that. Like whoever gets there first sends the other the timestamps. So we're not like,
But we're checking on each other.
yeah.
Um, what am I doing? Oh, I gotta open my document, copy and paste it. Doy.
Wait, what are you making up to us? You owe us so much. Hey, yeah, because we skipped a couple of weeks, and well, we're behind one,
Yeah.
and
Like,
we're also going to be a shorter stream today because of more. Life is busy.
yeah. Like I'm in a rental and the landlord has put the house on the market. So they're doing an open house today, so I gotta skedaddle for like 6 hours. No, not six. It's like 4 hours tops. Where I'm gonna take the dogs, put them at the pet sitter, take the kids, and spend way too much money. It's at a place called Round One.
Oh yeah,
Okay, I wasn't sure if that was a chain, but yeah. So we're gonna spend lots of money today, unfortunately.
it'll be
So
money well spent. Everyone will.
yeah, I mean, I totally get into the games too.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Eva, I am currently in the void. Also, I'm keeping an eye out for your alpha copy, so
Ooh.
I'm looking forward.
Uh, so I was a horrible prepper, I guess you could say, because I'm just now opening my document and Microsoft Word. You know on Mac how they bounce as the
Hmm.
icons bounce as they're like I'm loading. It's been bouncing for the past minute.
Awesome. Gotta love
Okay.
that.
Oh, here we go. So,
Yeah, even memory making time. That's exactly what it is.
oh, that's true. Like you can't put a dollar value on making memories. I know as I've gotten older, I'm starting to put value on my time. Like
Hmm.
before it was like I was just expecting the cost of like doing something based on the materials I'm using. But now I'm starting to count in my time. So I was talking to the husband because he's a stay-at-home dad, and after we move, both kids are going to be in school. So we talked about him getting a job, not because he needs to, but because
Why not?
um, but because like otherwise he's going to be bored out of his damn mind, honestly.
Hmm.
Because now like a big chunk of his day is not going to be busy. Um, so we were wait, is this man? I really need to work on my headers here. Okay. So we were talking about him getting a job, and I told him, and I was prepared for an argument because he's the type of person that is, if you're able, he doesn't want to. If I mean, if we're able, he doesn't want to pay someone to do something that we're capable of doing.
Hmm.
Uh, but now I'm like, well, if both of us have jobs, like, and both working full time, he might work a little bit of crazier schedule than me. I was like, I would like to ensure that the house is clean because that's a big uh like relief for me
Hmm.
if you want to call it like that. Like it's a calming, it counters my anxiety
Yeah.
when the house is clean. Like the house being clean right now is great, even though we're like got this big stress of moving. We just decluttered a lot. And i I'm like, I want the house to stay this clean, I want the new house to be this clean.
Yeah.
And but I was telling him the moral of the story, the really long way to get there is that I was prepared to give him whole reasons of why we need to get a maid service or buy a robot vacuum, just something where
Hmm.
we're not having to actively do it. And he was just like, okay. I was like, what? I had a PowerPoint. I had pros and cons. I had a cost estimation, return of investment.
That's hilarious. And of course you did.
Yeah.
Eva said, "Oh no, I hope you forgot while I procrastinated on this read through. It's maybe 3 or 4 hours read with word reading aloud, and somehow it's been over a week. I listened to a chapter, wait a full day. I'm gonna need you to get it happening, ma'am.
Yeah.
And also, Natalie, are you available for that? The alpha.
Yes, dear. Of course.
So we are waiting. Chop chop.
Yeah. See, so you went with hoping Chandra forgot to like, oh, you want to include two? So now you got two people that are gonna hound you.
Yeah.
You brought it
Yep.
on yourself.
Uh,
um,
but
I'm
also, Eva said that Mr. Locke should just uh, agree, and I'm glad it was. I'm glad it was seamless
oh yeah.
because you deserve this. And I was gonna say, like, you have a lot going on. So I know for me,
Well,
while I
it's
was
also
working and
like
in school, I had somebody.
it was self-imposed too
Hmm.
for me. And stuff. But I had him home to do all the stuff.
Hmm. Yeah,
Okay.
that does help. That helps.
Okay, why do you keep on
Physical chaos does become mental chaos.
listen here? I want
I
what
got my desk at like my desk just generally clean. I have like my personal computers and work computers because I do work remotely, and I got everything like organized and really put together, and it's helped with my productivity so much. But also, I'm less stressed when I'm working on anything, be it personal or for my job, because I can like I can see space. My brain isn't like overloaded.
it sounded like a somebody talking about their trip and everything. I can see space.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was. I mean, even just having space on your desk for
Oh
a
yeah.
mug, like I did. I I
I've
had to be
cleaned
careful where I
this.
put stuff.
I've cleaned this and I got like my stack of stuff and then it really helps me go, okay, like am I going to use this in the next month and stuff? No, let's go put it away.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like,
and I got this really cool cart from I think Staples, and it's a tier cart, and I put like my planners are all on there, all my notebooks for like outlining and rewrite notes and story ideas are on there, so it's accessible. It's like right there by my hands, but it's like actually they're all stood up, so I can like see what I'm grabbing and grab it versus having them stacked on my desk. And then there's actually a spot where I can put like my coffee cups and my water bottle and like all that stuff without having to worry if I'm gonna knock it over on something.
oh yeah. Well, and then if Dobby gets
Right.
wild hair again. So,
Exactly. Exactly. Also, yeah, Eva Dobby is not in the void. Um, and that's a good thing at this time.
yeah. Okay. I think we're ready for our first 10 minutes. It's funny how we were like, it's going to be shorter, and then we take more time.
Yeah, we're fine. It's
But it's
fine.
fine. This is our social time. So cool. All right. This will be for 10 minutes. I got my screen shared because this worked out for us. So that everyone can see a timer, but then you can also get something visual of someone editing someone else's work. And you can read it yourself if you wish. You don't have to be less chatty, dear, and everything. We
Hi,
totally
Kat.
support the chattiness.
Good morning.
Cat, dear, thank you. Um, but yeah, okay. Let's get started. In 3, 2, 1. It might help if I mute myself. Where's my mouse? There it is. Found it.
feel pretty good about that.
I'm not even done. Uh, I was.
There weren't a lot of like, I left a lot of comments and thoughts about the story, but there weren't a lot of like actual edits.
Mhm.
Like it was a really clean draft.
Yeah.
So
The little things I have is just where you use like um not pronouns, where I guess it would be, but it's like that and it, and I'm like, what is that? What is it? Remind me, please. Uh, and anything would do to hide it.
hold on 1 second, I'll be right back.
You're cool. So I'm reading the last paragraph here. Uh, there wasn't anything anyone could do to hide it. I had executed him. As well, anything nowadays, a shooting in a public place is always caught on camera. God, I love that line. And also, it gives you a sense of the time. And I think that's why a shooting place always caught on camera in this day and age. I kind of like the line that I threw in up here of 21st century citizen. I think it kind of helps. We don't need my timer anymore, so let me cut that down. And let me get, where's my screen? When I open my stuff, the other picture. Where are you? Uh oh. Did I do something? We're just gonna create a new Google Chrome. All right. All good in the void?
Yep.
I just love how that's the naming convention we're going with.
Well, in the Matrix where the uh they like end up in that like white space and there's like nothing there.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I was thinking because of the wall behind me.
If only you could be like, computer, I need guns. I need a murder scene.
Oh, that's funny. My FBI agent would be like, like, how am I going to explain this to my boss?
Oh, she did it again.
He just jots down plot bunny idea.
It's funny. Okay. Doesn't really matter the order, but since you're up top here, what here I did was, so treehouse. I added treehouse or underground. All right. First off, let me bring chat up on this in case you didn't read. So, this main character grew up with their friend Sarah, and and talked about what most kids dream of and how they're the opposite. This person actually wanted to go off grid and be on their own. Like somewhere off grid, a cabin. I added treehouse or underground bunker. Was actually the rest of that. Oops. Um, but just to show that they've been thinking about it, and that's why I threw those extra lines in. And then it turns out that their friend married, which actually now I realize is a time jump. It's like we're talking about this person as a kid, but their friend is married.
Mm-hmm.
So that is kind of a reflection of their mental state.
Mm-hmm.
If they're still stuck thinking about, like, what am I going to do with my life? And then it's like, no, you're living it. But honestly, that's all of us adults. It's like when I grow up, I'm going to be retired.
We're grown up.
Yeah. I hate looking around and be like, oh, I'm the adult here. I'm the most adult. But back to this. The it turns out their friend is in a violent relationship, and so the main character steps in and beats kills the person that's beating on their friend that is their friend's spouse. So back to the story. The points that I came in was showing how much they thought about it. So I added tree house or underground bunker instead of just leaving it at cabin as going off grid. And then I know it isn't for me that, yes, murder. Had a full-on soundboard session in a chat the other day about how a delivery driver could be successful serial killer. No FBI knocks yet. Ooh, that makes...
Okay, but that's a really good idea, though.
That is. And everything.
But how would they get everything delivered?
Yeah, and most people, they have like Ring doorbells and stuff. So I'm really interested. Because, like, I will say...
but maybe that's it, though. They go to so many places, they know who has a Ring doorbell and who doesn't. They get to scope out all of the places they go in advance, and they have a perfectly logical explanation for why they've been there. So they don't do the hit while they're working or like kill the person while they're working. That's when they do like figure everything out.
That's the... Okay.
And then they come back later. They could even be planting their own cameras and stuff like that so that they have time to like figure out what people's schedules are, and they can do that while they're just like swinging by.
Oh, I like where this is going. The only way they'd succeed is duo, and the driver takes care of the bodies but doesn't know who the serial killer is. The other one does the murder and plans to match the routes. You can be a scrambler on Amazon to like turn cameras off. Oh, you can buy a scrambler. Okay. This is well thought out. Bravo. Okay.
You know what? I'm alarmed.
My interest is piqued.
Eva, is there something you need to tell us?
So, I know it isn't for me. Like it there, I was like going off grid because I doubt that, but or like being a productive member of society. And I thought the next line was kind of helping explain that. Where sometimes I feel bad about that, maybe a little jealous of other people with normal lives. But it's not my life to be the model 21st century citizen. And I now, after reading the end about the in public places you're always caught on camera, I feel like this is actually kind of a good lead in to let you know the time period, with a little bit of the mocking tone, but anything of a... I said model citizen because I didn't want to say normal or... And mediocre made it seem like they had a negative connotation, because if they're jealous of them, why are they gonna... I mean, you do talk bad about people you're jealous of, but you know what I mean.
So it's just funny because I had a conversation about that yesterday. So
full circle. Okay, and then I ended up moving this a little bit, of saying the moment I saw him sitting at Sarah again, comma, I knew, and then what's that? I knew that, like, oh, now I realize, knew that not being a model citizen, pretty much. That's that. So you could probably keep that there. Never, and then this line, it wasn't just the one time either. I made the comment, I was like, we know this isn't the first time because we said hitting Sarah again. And we also know it wasn't just one hit because the previous line we say pummel. And pummel usually means more than one punch. So I was like, suggest rewriting or delete the line. Down here, I deleted, I just felt calm, and I decided to write out like calmness and everything. My breath was steady, but my eyes were pointed at my goal. There was no fear, no anxiety, nothing holding me back. I just felt that sucked us in more. Feel free to write however you wish. And then this part, it was me convicted. Of course, actually convicted does mean a trial has happened. But Actually, something that could be better is found guilty of murder. Like, just bring it home instead of a crime,
Mm-hmm.
because we're so close to the end.
Yeah, like don't be so vague.
Yeah, we don't have to be. But most people, they don't think of convicted. I feel like where they're not as into court stuff as much as you and I are. So that's why
That's
I said
fair.
found guilty.
Yeah.
Um um showing instead of telling nice. Yeah, I sometimes do it. um
I feel like too in first draft, sometimes it's good to just tell what happened so you don't get hung up on trying to
yes.
show it
Finding the right
cleanly.
words, and you're sitting there like analyzing, going, okay, I'm calm. How does my heart feel? How does my chest like,
Yeah.
and everything. Just put he was calm, and then editing, you can add in the immersive language,
Yeah.
as I call it.
Yeah. I like that.
So, but yeah, that's all I got.
Okay.
Was just like a few things to kind of like expand it more. The whole give me more, I
Mm-hmm.
tried to. So if as you're writing, you're like, oh, I can give more here, add
Yeah.
it
Just
at this point.
add in more. I
The
did. I
point
definitely underwrote this story. It was very short.
the point is it is that it's self protect or protection, right? I don't think it's murder
I think it
by
would
they've accepted.
probably.
It is still planned. Okay, so it would be self defense if it was Sarah
Yeah.
doing
And
it,
Sarah won't do it.
and Sarah won't do it. And the thing is that it to prove self defense, what it is that you have to
You
because
have to show that you
it
believe
like
that your
it
life
was
was
like a
in danger.
split in the moment decision. So it's almost like a crime of passion, but a crime of I'm trying to stay alive,
Yeah. And
because they don't want to charge us for like in the moment
mm-hmm.
decision of like it's me or them. But here's an example. So in there's this Netflix documentary called Killer Sally
Mm-hmm.
about the bodybuilder who killed her bodybuilder husband. And they uh the way she describes it is that her husband did beat on her and like choke her and stuff like that. But the thing is, he did that. It stopped. Like she was able to get him to stop. And then he was just sitting on the couch. And she walked to the bedroom, grabbed the gun, came back, shot him. And it's believed that she went to the bedroom again because it was a shotgun to grab another bullet, came back and shot him. Like the act of leaving the situation
Mm-hmm.
to grab a weapon and come back what is the issue. So in the main characters, the
Mm-hmm.
narrator's case, the fact that they purposely went to grab the weapon,
Mm-hmm.
like it would have been different if they saw the beating in person and shot him in that moment of I was
Mm-hmm.
defending my friend. But when you do it outside the action,
Mm-hmm.
it becomes like first degree planned and
Yeah.
stuff.
And Eva, that does happen. I think people are more like the prosecutor has to be careful about what charges they file, especially in a situation like that,
Yeah.
because you are correct, especially in situations like that. Um, Juries don't want to be as harsh typically. I mean, they still have to, without like they're still confined by the law, but
Yeah.
also in situations like that, it's like,
If anyone's interested, Killer Sally is a 3-part limited series, about like an hour a piece. The
mhm,
first 2 episodes, you'll think it definitely happened one way, and then the last episode, you'll be like, "Oh, I think
yeah,
it went this way now."
yeah. And that's the other thing too is when people, I what was it? There was another one where the person went and turned themselves in after it happened, and they were just like, yeah, I did it.
Yeah.
This is why I did it. I ain't sorry. And sometimes that honesty plays really well to the jury of this person, although this was 100% premeditated, the reason for that decision is justifiable.
Yeah.
even if it's
Um,
illegal. That
yeah.
can happen, but
You know what I would find interesting is that if the ending of this story was kind of like Sling Blade ending,
oh, I've already changed the way the story goes in my mind, so
oh, okay.
hold
Because the
on.
way I like it is, I liked in Sling Blade when he killed the abusive male. He called the cops on himself and said, "Yeah, I'm just sitting at the kitchen table." And he like opened up a soda or something and waited for the police to get there,
Mm-hmm.
like surrounded by blood and stuff. So it was planned, but it was also like, I'm not trying to hide. I know what I did. Punish me and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. Like, and I kind of like that. But
And
also,
from some of the cases I've looked at, the jury is kind of like, well, it do be like that sometimes. It's like, yeah, you can do something illegal, but people tend to be like more concerned when the person like actively tries to hide it versus if it's completely transparent and understandable why the person committed the crime and they're not
yeah,
trying to like, they're not trying to subvert the law as it were. They're
okay,
here's what happened. But there's also like, when someone's being tried and you know that they're dishonest, then you can't even like, okay, they'll probably do something like this again because they're not, they're like, they're trying to get away with it versus the person who's like, I did what I felt I had to do.
yeah.
Okay, so on to Natalie's story. Um,
So, the best advice that I've ever heard, Chandra said during episode 64 of the story of this episode, or the episode that we aired, the drafting of this, and she said you got to have three people read your stories: pervert, someone who takes everything literally, and then what was the other one?
a prude.
A prude for clearance. And Chandra's volunteered to be my pervert.
I was cracking up when I read this story first, and I watched the video this morning to review before the stream, and I that's where my first note came in because the Jessica, you've been pummeled so much you're practically a shipwreck had me cackling all over again. Um, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing,
Yeah.
having read it a couple of times and everything, because at the end of the story, spoiler, um, we already know that the guy who's saying the lines is, you know, a few fries short of a Happy Meal. And so the fact that he would say something like that makes me think,
It's
um,
part of his character.
yeah, but also the director does prompt, "We'll take it from you've been pummeled," uh, which just made me, I can't, I don't know. That's your decision. I'm not going to say anything more about that. I did. There were just a couple spots like, let's see here, where I deleted. There was an extra space,
Yeah, oh yeah, that stuff happens.
and yeah, so there's those kind of notes I'll just skip. But one thing I did find here at the top, Jared said as he grabbed for Jessica's hand, and then
Mm-hmm.
below that, she wiggled out of his grip. When you say grabbed for, it makes me think that he actually like missed. Like he went to grab her, he like grabbed for her, and she pulled away, and he never actually grabbed her. Versus where she wiggles out of his grip, I'm like, oh wait, he did grab her.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that was
So being
something.
clear.
Yeah.
So instead, so it would be deleting the four as he grabbed Jessica's hands. And
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I'm going to jump around a little bit because further down here, I noted um, uh, I kind of want a little more physical back and forth from them. Initially, he reaches for her and tries to grab her. This seems like a place where, and that's where I'm listening at this. This is the third from the bottom paragraph where
Oh, that
he would
highlight. Okay.
yeah, he would want to be physically closer to her because he's almost like saying like come live with me, like let me care for you. Like that's another spot where I would get the impression he would want to be close to her. So another like where he reaches for her and she pulls away again. So
Okay.
she's the one who's creating distance, but there's that like little back and forth. Um then above, back up to the top. Um yeah, where she's where he's speaking to her and he like grabs for her. It does sound a little aggressive, and that's not a bad thing, but it does make me think he doesn't have the right to address her this way, or maybe she doesn't feel he has the right to address her that
Is
way.
this the
So
acting part?
right. And
Remember?
I'm
Yeah.
aware, but I'm like, even in the acting, I don't know what the intention is for that.
Mm-hmm.
But like, kind of either you're getting the tension coming through of her being like, don't touch me because she's irritated with him in the acting sense, or there's in the, like,
Mm.
she doesn't enjoy her acting partner. They don't have good chemistry already.
Ah,
And
gotcha.
but then there's also the potential in the story that they're acting out that who is he to her in the story that they're acting out. So
Okay.
there's a double layer of reasons why she might not want him to touch her. And I'm a little curious about that. And if you have a story, I don't know that it would necessarily end up on the page, but just kind of something to think about.
Yeah, those where you, as authors, we usually have way more in our minds than what we put on the page.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah.
And I did go here. Jared shifted instead of Jared moved his head because I don't know, for some reason reading Jared moved
Yeah.
his head. I'm like what did how did he move his?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So I did this in another story, and it's that whole like when you're when someone taller is talking to someone shorter, but the shorter person's looking down, the taller person kind of hunches and it's like, hey,
Yeah,
look me in the
yeah.
eye.
And but in that situation, it would be the whole body moving. So that's why I changed it to Jared shifted. So we whoever's reading it can imagine, like however they've imagined it in their head. All they know is that he's moving his body in whatever way he needs to, so that they can make eye contact without having to like
Yeah, and then the person reading can just assume what
exactly.
that shift is. So okay.
Yeah. And then this other part here, wondering whether you'll have a meal today or not, that kind of made me think that she's been living as like a homeless person or she's somehow displaced. And I would wonder, like earlier on in the story, that we see what that looks like for her. Like, what's she wearing? Um,
Oh yeah. Start
maybe
describing.
the costume that she's wearing for the wardrobe that she's wearing for this scene is uncomfortable, or like she really hates looking ratty, especially if she's in front of someone that she doesn't care for anymore. Which leads me into another thing that I was wondering about. um let's see. Yeah, I mentioned that it makes her sound homeless, and then at the near the end, where Vanessa's rolling her eyes, it
Mm-hmm.
makes it sound like they used to date. So all throughout this, there's that undercurrent of tension between them, not just because Jared's not good at acting and
Yeah.
unbelievable, but he's genuinely like that as well. And so this whole time she's extra irritated with him because not only did they used to date in the story that they're acting out, they also, it was like an unset romance until it wasn't. And so all of that's kind of playing into it. So that's kind of, yeah, that's where I was going with that. And not necessarily that they did or didn't, but um, you know,
Yeah,
do with that
I
what
can
you will.
give more in this situation, kind of like where I was saying expand on yours. So I can expand in the attire. I can expand like maybe there's a hint or something where they almost break character and show them real selves a little bit in the moment.
Hmm.
but school the face again.
Yeah.
Whatever the
Yeah.
case would be. So, okay. Sweet.
And it could even be something where the director might get irritated enough with them, where especially when she makes those kind of catty remarks that aren't untrue about how he's not very good at acting. Maybe the director's like, "Look, keep your personal stuff out of like off my set. This is where we're going. Take it from the
Yeah,
top
like
from you've been
maybe,
pummeled."
yeah, I like that of having the director come in and go, these characters are having their belated meet cute or like a meet cute redo, that I'll call it that,
Hmm.
of where they're supposed to be starting to fall in love and I'm getting despise
Yeah, yeah, because
or
that really
something.
does come through. Yeah, I think that
Yeah.
would work really well because then the context throughout the story, it's clarified of like, yeah, they used to date and now like she can't stand him. But in the story, part of the reason his acting is so bad or their acting together is so bad is because this is what's supposed to be conveyed, but what's coming across is completely different. And I think that'd be really funny.
Yeah.
Also, Eva said, he makes me uncomfortable, and I haven't read it just by the notes. I think that's really funny though, because
Yeah.
I think
No.
especially hearing the director say, like, this is how everyone should be feeling right now. And then for the reader to be like, no.
Yeah, that kind of creates a little bit of distrust. I and or at least validation of like, okay, so it's not what it should be. But the way I see it is that Scott, I think is who I call the actor, or Jared, we'll just say Jared because that's more prominent. Jared, he's he's just the ex. Like, he's not bad, he's
Hmm.
not forceful or whatever, he's just like in
Well,
his like
we,
he
we
yeah.
don't like him, and he did not go to Jared.
Yes, he did not.
But I mean that's something for valid for like how do you want him to come across? Do you want us to hate him? Because right now we're siding with Jessica.
Yeah. So it's clarifying that. Okay. And
Hmm.
I think that will help with when if I get the director to say something more than cut. The by the way, the comment with the Jared, it so the realtor we had for house shopping in Louisiana, his name was Jared. So when we found our house, Alex looked at me and go, she went to Jared. I was like,
Stop it. That's so funny.
yeah. So either way. Which by the way, let's talk that marketing line just worked so well for them. You know,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
just perfect. Good, like it's right up there with uh like diamonds are forever,
Hmm.
like that line. Like just really, really good. So either way.
I always go to that and what's in the bag, Dave? Okay, sorry. Uh
Okay. So
commercials that stay with you forever.
do we want to do the shared screen again where
Yeah,
anybody watching can,
I
all
like
right.
that.
So
Because you can kind of jump in and see what we're doing, even if you haven't been, watching the whole time. It's pretty
yeah.
helpful.
All right, so this will be 20. Hopefully it lets me type it out. Oh, finally. When I was typing 10, it wouldn't let me. Like, I press 0 and it goes, "Oh, you want to close the window." And I'm like, "No, I don't want to do that. I want 10 minutes." So that's why you saw it as
It's like
11 minutes and I just like let it play down. Okay. That's about as far as it will go.
that's good.
All right. Let's get started. Oh, mouse. Here we go. I got an actual mouse here and I haven't been using it at all. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
So, I feel really good about the changes that I made. You want me to unmute you? Blink twice. I'm just kidding. I believe in you.
I'm having to sign back in. This thing's so annoying because I keep on hitting the wrong screen. Spencer, you okay? What's wrong?
Oh, there's a note from Shannon in the comments for you about updating the thumbnail.
Oh, yes. Thank you, dear. Yes, I can update that. Don't worry. Yes, I will wake up your sister once I'm done going over this stuff. I asked him to wake her up, and he goes, no, I want you. I said, fine, kid.
Be that way. Hi, Spencer. Eva
Chandra
says
hi.
too.
And so does Eva. You gonna say hi to them? Okay.
No. Okay. I
You what?
Oh, there's some music in the background. I don't know if there was a timer going or
no, it's Spencer playing Roblox.
Oh, okay. I just didn't want you to get dinged.
Yeah. Do you want?
There you go.
Hopefully it's a little less now.
Yeah. Do you want me to read yours first?
Spencer, what's wrong? Okay. Here, you can hang out underneath. You want to grab your blanket and hang out underneath the desk? Okay. Yes. Sounds like a great plan, Mom. All right. Let me just read this last line.
I'm distracted here, but not really able to listen. No worries. You're getting stuff done.
Line. There you go. You gonna go under? Hang on. Oh, you want to still be in my lap? Awesome. Cool. Great. God, you're heavy.
Why you say I'm heavy?
Because you are heavy to me. Probably not to your dad. Okay. So yeah, you can read mine. I guess I got more words than you. A lot more. It's rare that happens.
All right, here we go. I'm going to read Natalie's story. Jessica, you've been pummeled so much you're practically a shipwreck. Just let me take you home to my cabin and nurse you back to health, Jared said as he grabbed Jessica's hand. They stood in the alley he'd chased her to before she tripped over the broken down boxes laying in front of the overflowing dumpster. Jessica shook her head before Jared could finish his words and snapped her hand from his. You can't save me. I don't want to be saved. Yes, I have some lows, but those highs. She stared past him, biting her lip. Jared shifted so he could lock eyes with Jessica, breaking her out of her trance. That's the thing. You're living for those highs and nothing else. Let me give you something else to live for. Just give me 2 weeks. No dope, no chaos, no wondering whether you'll have a meal today or not. His voice cracked, but his eyes stayed dry. You've lost so much. I don't want the next thing you lose to be your life. Jared sucked in a breath. I don't want to lose you, he whispered. Jessica's eyes lifted to Jared's. She chewed on her bottom lip, pulling her dirty jean jacket around her. What What, you want to tie the knot with me or something? Bring structure to my life? Buy me a dress? She stepped back, her arms displaying a multi-layered ensemble, each as dirty as the top jean jacket and as many holes as her baggy acid wash jeans. After tucking her knotted hair behind her ears, she continued, I'm always going to want to use. You can't offset that. Jared tried to close the distance between them, but Jessica tried to step around him, heading towards the busy sidewalk. A tiny bark made her stop. Behind her was a puppy. Her eyebrows furrowed as she glanced around and then to Jared. Are you trying to bribe me with a puppy? She asked as she picked it up and as she picked up the uncoordinated furball sprinting towards her. Jared started to laugh. Cut! The director yelled. Someone get the dog and call the pound. She got down from the director's chair, heading to the actors. Vanessa and Scott moved closer, preparing to talk. Great work, but keep in mind, this is a meet cute redo, Jared and Jessica. Vanessa, Jessica, Jessica pulls her hand out of Jared's for fear, not love, not spite. Less yanking, more hesitancy next time. Scott's smirk dropped when the director turned her attention to him. And you, just because you smile doesn't mean the audience is going to believe you love Jessica. So when you grab her, pretend you're picking up a baby. When your voice croaks, I want to see your cheeks redden. Vanessa smirked as the director headed back to her chair and shouted to the crew, Get back into places. We'll take it from you've been pummeled. An assistant came up and grabbed the dog from Vanessa. Take him to my trailer, please. Don't call the pound, she whispered. Scott scoffed. You're too soft. That's why you're so worked up in the scenes. Vanessa rolled her eyes. Yeah, well, you don't know what it's like to care for someone or something other than yourself. You treat everything like the tide. It may go away, but you think it'll always come back. That is why Jared is so flat in his request for Jessica to stop using. Try and shed a tear or something, Vanessa snapped as she stepped back between Scott and the back of the alley, laying on the ground. Scott shook his head. We'll see come Oscar season. Vanessa laughed. Oh, okay, sure. Oh, and the line is train wreck, not shipwreck, Shakespeare. Vanessa closed her eyes and took a breath. Right as the director yelled, Action! Jessica opened her eyes with tears brimming the edges. I really like it. That was perfect as far as seeing what she's wearing, understanding that she's living on the streets and he's trying to bring her back, and then the back and forth between them. I think that really clears up the fact that what we're seeing is not at all what's going on and that they don't have good chemistry on set, and I think that was
I feel like the director is what really helped that a lot.
Yes, I think so. I think the director, it feels like, in a heist scenario, like when you're the story arc of a heist, how you're supposed to, if the heist is successful, you don't give the strategy, but if the heist is unsuccessful, you give the strategy.
Yeah.
So even you'll see it in the Ocean's movie plot lines where they're they run through a quick snapshots of what the plan, how everything should play out, and then you see what actually happens. It kind of gave me that vibe for the story of the director popping in to be here was the plan, and we already saw what we I liked that. I thought that was really good.
So sweet. I'm glad. Yeah, and I changed certain things where he said our cabin, and I thought better to change it to my if she's homeless and stuff.
Yeah, I like that.
All right. Okay. So now Chandra's story.
What's this?
That whoever that was not the imposter. There's still one imposter to find. Okay.
I'm good.
You're a ghost? Oh, sorry, kiddo. All right. Most kids dream of being a pirate and surviving a shipwreck, getting a new puppy, or
I do
growing.
that.
Okay. Getting a new puppy or growing up to be a nurse. Not me. Somewhere along the way, my ideas of. Buddy, you're probably gonna have to. Can you sit down on the floor, please? Oh, of course not. Okay. All right. Not me. Somewhere along the way, my ideas of living in a covered wagon or in a treehouse turned into a quiet, structured home. Somewhere off the grid. Maybe in a cabin or a cottage by the beach. Now I know it isn't for me, no matter how badly I want it. Sometimes I feel bad about letting that dream go and maybe a little jealous of other people with normal lives. But it's too late for me to be a model 21st century citizen. And the cabin in the woods isn't an option because of the choices I've made. The moment I saw him hitting Sarah again, I knew I had to do something. I'd never seen anyone absolutely pummel another person and look so downright pleased with themselves as he had. She laid on the floor, the white of her skin offset by the red blood of her nose and mouth. This time, I come prepared. Wow, that's great timing on the sound. This time, I come prepared. I didn't say anything. I don't know some. I'd known something like this might happen. The knot in my stomach released. For the first time in a long time, I could take a deep breath. My chest didn't ache. I had my eyes on my target. My hands were steady. There was nothing holding me back. Sarah wasn't just my best friend. I know that's what people are going to say, but it wasn't true. Maybe that's the worst of it. I would never see her again. We would never stand on the beach hand in hand and watch the tide come up between our toes. It didn't matter. She was safe from the sack of shit she called a husband. Even when I was found guilty of murder, there wasn't anything anyone could do to hide it. I'd executed him. As with anything nowadays, shooting in a public place was always caught on camera. I just hadn't expected her to be the one sitting on the stand. I hadn't expected the tears and anger. Not from her. I thought she would have been glad she didn't have to worry about him anymore. I was so sure she was too scared to leave him. In her victim impact statement, she said I had ruined her life. She painted a picture of a white picket fence and the 3.5 dogs or whatever bullshit the American dream had turned into. She said she hoped I'd rot in hell. All I could see were the bruises under her left eye she tried to hide with makeup, and the tall, brooding man that sat in the courtroom staring at her. Oh my gosh, this just got better. Like, okay, so I get the idea that Sarah is, okay, I understand where Sarah's coming from, and it also gives you a better idea of the narrator and Sarah's relationship too. Like maybe it's mostly on the narrator side of the emotions that we were talking about before. And then regarding Sarah, the way I picture the guy in the courtroom, it's what she knows.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's that hard to break the cycle when you think that the abuse is love and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's for anybody wondering, it's actually been proven that when someone goes from an abusive relationship, the hardest relationship for them to be in is actually a healthy one, because their body is like ready, like fight or flight, and it doesn't happen.
No,
yeah. And you tend to go back to what's familiar, like without having a lot of support and like therapy and like help as you change your life. A lot of people end up going back either, because it's familiar, or they end up with somebody else who has a lot of the same characteristics, who seems nice at the beginning and then morphs. And I thought it was interesting because also the main character, like Natalie, like you were saying, that there's that impression of their relationship being closer than it was. So
Mhm.
kind of I wanted it to be clear that the narrator isn't necessarily any better than the other people that they've
Yeah.
targeted.
Like it's the difference between an abuser and a stalker. Is
Yeah.
the way I kind of see it. It's like
Yeah.
they're kind of both up there.
Yeah.
And everything. Both will make you feel unsafe. And stuff. So.
But I wanted to take what you had suggested about.
Oh yeah, and I love how
they
you made
can't-
it your own and everything. You didn't just take what I said. You were like, okay, I see where she's headed with this, but this is where I think it should be. And I was like,
Well, I thought it was a way to balance all of the ideas about how to improve the story, which I think is fun to like bring in the fact that, you know, it's more likely that she'll end up in another similar relationship, that the guy is there watching her, how she felt about her original relationship. And also the 3.5 dogs line, because I know people are like the 2.5 kids and a white picket fence. I wanted it to be like the narrator has a disdain for that lifestyle, which we've already picked up on from their comments about living off the grid and all that stuff.
I'm not an imposter. So yeah, absolutely. I got that, and I like that. It's when we take. It's usually a sign of when we take cliches and change them. That it's either because we have a character that is that free thinking and they just come with their own sayings, or a character that is mocking.
Yeah.
And you did the mocking really well.
That was fun. I'm happy with the way it turned out, and I feel like I also
we both did good.
We did real good. I'm really enjoying the process of the editing because I feel like
oh my god, like I thought drafting was fun, but I've like this is making me love editing.
Yeah. Yeah, I was not expecting that, so I'm really glad.
Yay.
I got a bullet off.
You got a bullet off? Oh, you were kicked out. I'm sorry, kid.
I'm imposter.
You were the imposter. Okay. That's great. All right. Well, we thank everybody for coming. Chandra and I both have things to do today. And you will see us next Sunday, I believe, right?
Yes, next Sunday.
So next Sunday. So stay tuned and we'll let you know timeline and stuff like that. Just pay attention to okay. We'll let you know our timeline for that. But so the whatever next Sunday is, the 20.
I can answer that question. Next Sunday is the 24th.
24th. Wow, that was close. So the 24th. And we'll keep you up to date on plans for that one. So, all right. Thank you, everybody, for coming, and we will catch you next weekend.
Bye.
I have